show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome. Yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the Tech Shamans. Cool.
Are we? I can't find it. Hey, everybody, good morning. Welcome to Monday. It's Monday.
Monday.
You got a case of the Mondays?
Got a case of the Mondays.
I got a case of the Mondays.
This morning
Anyway.
has not been fun for me. I
Oh, poor Rusty.
stubbed my toe and everything else, so it's
Tore
been
his
fun.
tore his house halfway apart. And
Yes.
that's what happens when you get excited and do stuff with Mom.
Yes. The wife wanted the house cleaned, so it's not like a regular cleaning. It's one of those cleanings where you actually have to take everything apart and then go back through and put it back together, and you realize that you have way too much junk. Yes. What was that guy's name from the convention, at the last convention, that came in your house and saved your marriage? And
Oh, yeah,
Did all that?
they were the clutter people. They come in and clean your
I need
stuff
them
up.
badly.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Rob knows them better than I do.
Yeah.
Even though I know I did. But anyway, so hey, guess what?
What?
Yeah, we're not live.
We're not live.
Are we live? Are you
What?
watching? We are.
Let's take a look here. I could have swore we were live.
We're on WeBeam, so we're not on Facebook. Why not? That's weird.
Well,
We're still going live on Facebook.
We are Facebook?
No, we're just going live. We just haven't reached
Yeah,
there
that's
yet.
weird. So, you know what I'm gonna do?
Sounds like lag.
No, it's not like I'm gonna jump back there and because I think I know what's wrong. I'll be
Okay.
right back. You guys take over.
all right. So, Adam,
Yes.
you sent us this email about, because we know Adam loves video games.
No, I
if
just
he's
like
not at the shop
technology.
working, he's probably at home
No.
sitting there playing his video games.
Not playing video games.
Or building another system,
Well,
or
that-
dreaming about another system for video games.
Yes, I could be doing that.
So, we know that Google's coming out with a new toy, and why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, the Project Stadia sounds like a new kind of low-fat sugar for your coffee.
Instead of stevia, we need some Stadia.
Stadia
Does the opposite, right? It makes you fat.
makes you fatter, keeps you on the couch and playing video games, and making you fatter. It's wonderful. So Google's attempting to go ahead and stream AAA title games to your TVs, pretty much any kind of internet connected device, and promising you the power of a gaming computer without having to invest all that money into a gaming computer. So it'll most likely be a subscription type service.
Okay, so let's take a step back for a minute. So what's a Title A?
AAA?
Or a AAA?
AAA would be like, a game very
You're gonna
high,
have to put some information in there,
highly
all that kind of
anticipated
crap.
games.
And then you have to
like,
stop it over
you
there.
got
Like Doom that's coming out, the newest
the new Doom,
Creed.
guess what I
Assassin's
fixed?
Creed.
Right.
You
Okay.
fixed it.
Yep. Well, good old Facebook has really kind of kicked our butts lately. They have all these algorithm changes, and they put this new things in, and oh my.
Are they making it fun for you?
Yeah. So we're live now. Thank God.
right.
There's nothing there. So anyway, so what are you guys talking about? Are you talking about the new Google?
Yes,
Google
the Google
Stadia.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. That's not gonna go well.
Yeah.
For Google.
Well, the tech behind it sounds really interesting. At least the server and what they are promising us is, a nice custom-built server with a custom GPU made by AMD, 16 gigs of shared RAM between the GPU and the CPU, and also the RAM that they're using in it, and I have it here, is called what was that? HB. We got the custom.
All right.
RAM.
Here's what I'm going to say about this. I don't care what they've got in there. You could have a Ferrari in
We
there.
can have a Ferrari and still not
You
get
are
this.
not going to be able to handle the load. There has been so many companies that have tried this that have failed miserably. It's a great idea. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong,
it's a
man.
great idea.
I am all about it. Right? If they can make this work, God bless them. But I'm just telling you right now,
I don't think it has to do with anything hardware-wise.
No,
I mean,
I think it has to do with
the technology is there, but the bandwidth. You got millions of gamers around the world that are going to be jumping.
It's not billions. It's billions.
Billions that are going to be jumping in.
Yes.
And it's okay. You have so much pipeline, and only so much can flow through it at one time.
Exactly.
And they're talking 60 frames per minute at 1080p 4K. So that's our per second, I should say, not 60 frames per minute. That would be very, very bad.
You might as well do like that's a negative. That's a negative 120 per second, something like that.
So you would have to. So we know how, John. How big is the average file for that? Whenever you're shooting video.
What do you mean?
At 60 frames per minute.
I mean, okay. So if we do 60 frames per second, and we do it at say a low 25 megabits frame, our processing, you're probably looking at a 10 gigabyte file for an hour.
Yeah. So you're pushing 10 gigs over what they consider 25 megs upload or download speeds, and 10 megs upload speeds. So you got a billion people playing a game.
Yeah, that's going to be
your server farm is big enough to take it, but what about the lines that are coming into the building that are going to be for your bandwidth and stuff?
Yeah, this is.
How are you going to load manage that?
Oh,
you're not.
And then they're saying,
and they're guaranteeing no lag. And I don't know what they're going to say by no lag. It's going to be. It's not going to be possible. I mean, even if anything, you're going to have input lag on your controller itself. It's going to happen.
And they're saying the input, the controller is got to be, you got to buy the controller, and it actually hooks up through the Wi-Fi. It doesn't actually hook. So when you're playing through the Chrome browser, and the Chrome, the Cast, for the TV. So you're literally playing through the browser, but the controller's not hooked to your device, your hardware. It's actually hooked to the internet, going straight to the server.
Yep.
So, which means more load on the bandwidth.
Exactly.
So not only are you broadcasting the video, but now you're broadcasting the signal for the controller. What I wonder is if they're not building latency into it, so that when you move, right, there's a delay, so the signal has time to get there.
They would have to.
Back. There has to be a delay built into it, because that's the only way
they're going to. What they're going to do is they're going to put a predictive AI that's going to learn your gameplay,
or it's going to cheat for you.
Well, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what. Because what will happen
is, right, so it's going to start you right.
So you'll be playing, and once it learns your way of style of playing, and it sees you going a certain way, and it'll start predicting your right slip. So technically, in a way, ultimately, it'll be the point where you're not playing anymore. It's predictive AI.
Yeah, all you're doing is putting in some input.
So now basically we have $300 gaming computers now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, you couldn't have said it better. That's exactly right.
Yep.
So, where can this technology go from just the gaming industry?
Well, what
else can we do in other industries with this technology?
Well, it's
what
endless.
can it help?
Well,
it's endless.
Cloud computing.
Right.
If you want to say you have a virtual machine in the cloud, and you need to jump from one instance to another, across multiple platforms. That's the same situation.
Yeah, I think they're going to work heavy with Microsoft on their AI side. I really honestly, I think this is where your artificial intelligence is going to start really kind of rolling itself in and pushing, because what a great way to fix an unknown issue, because we don't know how AI is really, I mean, we have it now, but it's not real heavy duty. It's there, but it's just not monstrous. So what a great way to test the waters, to put it onto a gaming system, which everybody's going to jump onto. Yeah. Right? Because this is going to be cool. And there's going to be some people that will never, ever, ever, ever come off of Steam and come off of Twitch and come off of their own. They like the feel of their PlayStation or their Xbox or their computers. You'll have a hard time getting the computer people to jump over to a joystick or a controller. Oh yeah, because they do not like controllers. Definitely. Now they have them for certain games that they play. Like my son, he does not like consoles. He is a button pusher and a mouse guy. right? So to have him come off on and go on to a controller is going to be super tough. He does have a controller for certain of his games, but some of his games he does not.
Adam, had they said that you're going to be able to still use the keyboard and mouse?
They, I believe you're still going to be able to, because the games, you know, they don't, right now they don't normally build, all the time do they build controller capabilities into the game. So they want you to be playing, you know, title games for PC. That's what they're expecting.
They've also said, one thing that I found really cool.
Square up on that, square up over there.
I know what, that what's cool for me, and I think will lead to a lot of things for us in the advertising and marketing industry, is they're talking about being able to do overlay videos into this. So tutorial videos.
I was getting ready to say, remember how you said, will you be cheated? Well, yeah, because if you get to it, and they showed that on there, that if you get in there and you get stuck, you can go to Google or to YouTube and put a YouTube link. But the problem is if you start putting people ads up and jumps up on top, you're gonna have people. You'll have people leave like that. It'll be done. But it'll be done.
But they could have different levels of service then. You know,
definitely.
You know, like say for instance, at every
now you'll lose people.
Doctor recommended intervals of.
The minute you have an ad pop up, okay. So you ever see
in the middle of a game you couldn't have.
Yeah, no. Do you ever see the movie? Oh gosh, it just came out. About the kid that was virtual reality gaming. Shoot, what is the name of that? Ready Player One.
Yeah, Ready Player
One.
One. Yep.
So in that they were talking about, because you know everybody, the whole world has gone to this whole virtual reality to go find the keys and blah blah blah. And this one, the IOA, is it IOI, wants to take over the whole realm where everybody's at. And they were literally talking about how much peripheral ad space popping up in the people's masks they could put on there before people would go into seizures.
Yeah, and that's
right. So the minute you're in the middle of the game and an ad pops up, that dude's like, nope, I'm console. I'm going back to PC. You will lose them. And
I think on the gaming side but taking the technology to another level, because they're talking about now that you're going to be able to be watching it live on YouTube, right, of a guy playing a game, and he's going to be able to invite you in to play along with him, and you're going to jump in right at that moment where he's at in the game.
With an advertisement of the game playing, showing next to the player. Yes. So now they're going to be sitting there, they're marketing the game for him.
But think about like how far we can go with that technology that they're building right there, just on the fact of building out online universities and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, I've said it for the last 10 years.
Online universities they're already doing this stuff.
Yeah, they're not at that level yet.
They don't need Google to jump in that world. They really don't.
But don't you think it would make it better for everybody?
No.
I mean, as far as being able to have, you know, have the ability to jump right in at a
there is a reason for this, and those are some of the reasonings. You know,
they were very
they're not doing Why would Google get into gaming unless there's money behind it? You know.
Yeah, Google doesn't do anything without money.
They need they're data-driven analytics. They need that information. They need to say, hey, we created this, we're done. You know, we're just gonna repackage it and resell it to other industries now. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to have license agreements on how they do their particular setups.
Well, data is king. Who has the data is the one that's in charge. So we've been saying that for years. So did you see that also? Facebook was talking about Oculus again, and they are talking in rumors about Oculus 2 coming out. How does all of this tie together with the AI world, right? Because
Ready Player One.
This is ready for that.
It's Ready Player One. I'm telling you.
This is a big piece for that, though. I mean, because with it all being streamed online now, we're going to have people walking around with AIs on. And I was doing a lot of research last night on the show for the day, and I was amazed that the companies that are jumping in on the glassware, and for AI, it's like, so Oakley's got one now, and then you've got Ray-Ban has one too. Yeah, and they all have the integrated cameras and everything. Apple
bought a company that specifically makes lightweight screens that go in the glasses, and full color, full everything, full display, and they're working on making Apple glasses that require the iPhone, obviously. So they're going to be super lightweight, and they're just going to be displays. So they're going to be, the screens will be able to last a lot longer and stuff in the lenses, but they'll basically, you know, the phones are strong enough now to, you know, do that augmented reality right onto the screens and stuff, and that's going to be. Once Apple goes in, then I think that'll, you know, they'll start seeing something happening mainstream, and hopefully something kind of like, because I don't like when technology, it gets a start and everybody has their own way of doing it, and it starts really just messing everything up, you know, and then you just don't know where everything's going to go.
Well, what, you know, Google ultimately saw what happened with Fortnite. That's what it is. $2.4 billion in 1 year.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
So they're like, oh, how can we tap this market? That's all they're thinking, is how can we get, and the problem is they're jumping on something that everybody else has already done and failed miserably. You know, I think Google personally, this is my personal opinion, I think Google just need to stay in what they do and do well. They run analytics, they run data, and they keep us where we can find anything that we want to find. But get out, don't jump into Microsoft world, don't jump into Ubisoft, don't stay out of that world. Because
the problem is they're the most cash flush company in the world, and they are they're the two that fight for the position with Amazon for the #1 company in the world as far as size. So of course they're going to put their hands in everything, and I mean, what is it, like 6,500 patents a day that they send out, or they modify on a regular? It's something stupid. I can't remember the number. But it's like, it's some stupid number that they're doing. Yeah. Well, and all the doctors that they hired, and engineers and everything else that they have working for them, just to close loop all this stuff up. But
well, one of the other problems, and I think we touched on it earlier, is the fact that to make this happen, okay, half the United States is still in DSL world.
Exactly. Or in the dark.
Yeah. So for this to happen and happen well, they're going to have to get the Midwest and the whole 9 yards up to at least. I read their article, and I don't agree with all of it. But for you to watch an HD Netflix stream, use 3 gigs per hour. And if you're watching 4K, it's 8. They say double that. It's not. It's 8.
No, it's 8.
So for you to get the Midwest, your infrastructure is going to have to change completely.
Well, that brings us up to the next subject we were going to talk about today, is the 5G. You know, launch of 5G in the U.S. and Korea and China, and
yeah, but you'll never get 25. You'll never get 25 and 10 up. You need 10 up to game. Adam will tell you that in a heartbeat. Yeah. That's why in your house, if you're not running gigabit routers or 10 gigabit routers, and you're in your heavy gaming, you're suffering. You're getting your ass kicked online by these guys that have got
over
these
Wi-Fi. You're suffering anyway. So
right.
Well, my question goes to, okay, so we know we have a failing and ill system in America, because when other countries like Italy and the French and the Dubai and everywhere else was building out in wireless technologies, we were building out in fiber and copper still, and we were laying fiber optics. So where we're still, so our speeds are limited by the infrastructure here. So now we're finally getting into this mode. Hey, let's put up towers. Let's get the Wi-Fi infrastructure stronger. Now
I don't care. You can go to 20G. The problem is once everything's. I'm going to give you the example. I had this old guy. We were at a home show this weekend, right? This old guy came to me and goes, "Oh, you guys." They thought we were selling the Cody boxes, the ones that are illegal in Europe. And now I'm like, that's not what we do. Now then, once I told him what we do, he goes, "Oh, we're an online television station, by the way. We create our own content." He goes, "Well, let me ask you a question. Do you know anything about internet and blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I have this Xfinity thing." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He says, "Well, they put these wireless little hubby things in around their house in the electrical system." I said, "Oh, great. You have conflict immediately, because the electrical conflict with the internet conflict." And I said, "And that really is just going to eat your bandwidth up." He goes, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, I said, what kind
You
of...
lose 50% of your signal every time you connect one of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's say you have 25 MEPs coming in. Then you add one of those into the play.
Yep.
It can only broadcast half of what it receives.
Yep.
So you're already down. Now you put another one in play because with 90% of those, you cannot control what it attaches to. So if it doesn't attach back to the main router, then it's 50% loss, 50% loss, 50% loss.
And that's what I was telling him. So I said, well, here is the thing. When you and he goes, well, and I have a lot of buffering, and I have Fire Sticks, and I have this. And I'm like, well, okay, here's the problem. I said, you have phones, right? He goes, yep, I have. He goes, I said, how many iPads? He goes, I have 3 iPads. They're all over the house. I was like, okay. I said, every time you turn your internet on, right, and all these different machines are hitting it, it's all sucking bandwidth.
Yep.
He goes, well, the TV's off. I said, doesn't matter.
Nope.
Because that USB port is still hot.
It's still pinging it.
What? I'm like, oh, yeah. I said, the only way to make that Fire Stick not hit is unplug the USB so you have no power.
Right.
I said, and if you have a smart TV, guess what's hitting it? He went, what? I said, oh, yeah, every smart TV in your house is hitting your Wi-Fi. And then your phones are hitting the Wi-Fi. And then your iPads are hitting the Wi-Fi. I said, you have security cameras? Yeah, I have a full... Every camera is hitting Wi-Fi. I said,
every
there's
refrigerator in the house nowadays.
He went,
your AC controller.
He goes, well, I have fiber. I have fiber to everything. I said, no, you don't.
No.
He goes, well, Xfinity told me I do. I said, they lied to you. I said, they lied to you.
Now, you know the electric companies use their transmission lines to transfer data for them, right?
Well, yeah,
and so that's a conflict in itself by plugging in those and thinking that you're going to use the wire in the house.
So henceforth, this is why I said I don't care if they put 20G out. I don't care, because everything that's Wi-Fi. I mean, Tesla's cars, GM's cars, because they're pulling Wi-Fi now. Everything that touches that Wi-Fi will start draining it. Everything. So you can put up 20G out there and make it all Wi-Fi for the whole world to have, and we're going to suck it dry. And when you get these guys that get on there and try to start gaming on that, forget it. It is not going to work. It's not going to work.
Yeah, they're talking like I4 is already has Wi-Fi all the way down it now, and most of 75.
And it's horrible.
They're talking that by the end of the year, both 75 and I4 will be fully 5G compatible, and that
don't matter to me.
So,
and who's controlling it? Florida?
No,
nobody's controlling it.
Nobody controls it. It's a
pure wide open.
I don't know who's building. If it's T-Mobile that's building out, or if it's Verizon that's building out. But they're all in a lease program together. So Bright House will be on it. Frontier customers will be on it.
So you have to have an active data plan with somebody
to get in
to get a login, because it's going to ask you for it. And
your cars will be all like your GM car. Where it talks. That's going to run off of 5G. So they're already built into your dashboard and to
henceforth why I don't care if you put
they already came out. They're coming out. They got the new Wi-Fi standard coming out too.
Oh, and what's that now?
It's 8211 AX.
AX.
Yes.
What's the AX stand for? Do we know yet?
Awesome transmission.
Awesome transmission. Yeah. Oh my God. See, so here's the thing. So you're driving down I-4. You leave one node, you hit a new node. Now you got to relog back in. You hit a new node, you got a new node.
Yep.
Now you got to log back in. So every 10 miles or every 5 miles.
It's the systems nowadays. Yeah, because the systems are smart enough. That's like when we build out infrastructures and hotels and stuff like that, and we're building with like. Ubiquity and stuff like that.
Right.
The system, you're traveling from one piece to another in hardware, and you're not relogging in because the system knows that you're there. So when you're talking infrastructures like with the I-4 corridor and the 75 corridor, those systems are intelligently handing you off. It's a handshake between your device and the new device. So it's saying, hey, this person is XYZ. I'm handing them over to you because you're at my limit of my.
Well, that's the in the perfect world.
In the perfect world, yeah.
Right.
There will be
Amanda
times
Bird
over.
says she has she goes from one class. She'll go to like I'm on the Nope train on campus. My laptop doesn't get kicked off, but at home it does. I've had 3 routers from this ridiculous company, and only one that doesn't handle the speed was the one that didn't kick me off. She goes, I can't say that, but she has shit house too.
Which company is she?
Shit house. Bright house.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, first thing you do.
The first thing you get rid of their router.
Right. Yeah. The first thing you do is you ask them to go ahead and bridge their router right away, and you go ahead and turn off NAT, and then you go buy your own router and you install it. And you can't go buy your own router and just plug it into their stuff without telling them to bridge it first, because right off the bat you have a conflict. Yeah, you're dual NATing on that network right now, which is basically adding 2 firewalls. So. If dual NAT,
yeah, she's right. That's obnoxious. Who wants to keep logging in? It's just crazy.
Yeah, and then if you want to add extenders to your network, don't use wireless extenders. Use wired.
Use wired. PoE.
Power
and
over.
Tell them what PoE stands for.
Power over Ethernet. That allows you to have electricity run through the Ethernet cord and power the device that you want to. Use
I like Unifies. Like I have Unify.
Unifies
at
are nice,
the house,
yeah.
and the thing is, it's a cloud-based controller, so you don't have to put a server in. You don't have to put.
But you have to have a computer running all the time.
No, that is not true because it's cloud-based. So
see, with the one that we had, if we ever turned our computer off, the laptop or
you couldn't monitor or
we
disallow.
couldn't get Wi-Fi.
Then they've.
You set that up.
They have a cloud.
That
key.
one.
No.
Don't let this guy set your UB up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
No, literally. Once you set it up, you can keep the dashboard open and you can monitor and you can adjust as you go.
And I can turn computers off that I don't want on.
Yes.
So
I could do that with my Nighthawk, anyways, too. I do that to my son, just for fun.
Just for ha-ha.
Yeah, well, he's playing on the Xbox, and I want him to come down and go out to dinner or something, just.
Yep. Well,
disable that one.
So we were in Fort Myers this weekend. So and one of the Xfinity commercials showed that the kids all around the table and they're all on their phones, and mom just pulled open her app and goes off.
Yeah.
Eat, and then you can have it back on when you're done eating. On.
Exactly.
That's what we need today for our society. We need it for everybody. We need where the whole network goes down for
ready
2
for
hours,
a family meeting.
You have to have
Ready Player One. When the kids won the game and blah 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 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there was no the whatever they called that thing was shut down. So you had to go and talk to people.
How dare they?
But Rob made a good point though. Great, now we got people that's going to start streaming videos riding down the road. So now they got TVs going.
That.
We know. We've seen it. We've seen it, Rusty. We've seen it. It's all over the place.
This right here is the best babysitter in the back seat with the kids that I have found that will keep them.
Why don't you give
put
them
their
a book?
videos on and boom.
Give them a book.
My son will. My daughter, nope. she will color in the book and then she'll throw it at you.
Let her color in it then. At least she's not on screens.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that's the worst thing I did to my kids is I let them have screen time.
Yeah. Did you see that the screen time app to be able to shut down for the kids? The kids finding the workarounds. So what they were doing
Kids are
is
genius.
The parents weren't even getting mad because one of them was the workaround is if the game that they're playing was being locked out, they deleted it from their iPhone. Then they'd go back into iCloud and re-download it again. And when they re-downloaded it, it no longer had screen time, and they could play it unlimited. So your kid's still playing, and you wonder what's going on. That's why.
And now every kid that watches our show knows what
they're already fixing it.
Parents
we do not tell you to do this. Do you remember a long time ago where the comedian was telling the kids to go and pull $1 out of mom and dad's purse and send it to him through the mail, and they were doing it? I'm like, okay, we're not telling you to do that.
But if you want to send $1, here's the address.
That's right. 555 Rusty's house.
But so with the 5G, this is what, because you guys are the Apple guys, and I'm on the fence of going to the dark side, and I haven't pulled the trigger yet. But
we have cookies. That's just what I'm gonna say.
We just want our devices to work
all the time.
I when I want to make a call, I want to make a call.
Mine works flawlessly. Even when you drop it, it still works. Now, so they were talking, I was reading in that Apple is not going to launch 5G for the next 2 to 3 years.
Because it's not ready.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter.
Well, supposedly it has to do with the modem. They want things.
Because
they want things
the chipset's too big for their phones, or what they feel can fit in your hand.
Well, they're claiming that Intel's not
BS
ready
answer.
on their modem right now. So,
Which is BS, and we know that. I mean, come on, how can Samsung already have it out, and it fits in same parameters as...
Well, remember too. They need everything to work first off across the board on everything.
Yep.
Number one.
But they're the first ones to drop something that doesn't work.
Okay, so I'll tell you why, and I'll also be blunt about it, because Android, they don't give a crap. Look at how many phones they launched that caught on fire and burned up, the whole 9 yards. They don't give a crap. As long as they beat Apple out with a bigger, better thing, they think, they're fine. Mm-hmm. So Apple goes, all right, you might make the mistakes, and we'll just watch. What happens? See, 5G is again. 5G is when everybody's on it. It doesn't matter. When 4G came out, it was the greatest latest thing. LTE came out, it's the latest thing. But then everybody got it, and you're like, this sucks. Well, yeah. Why? Because everybody's on it. So,
which goes back to our first original conversation about bandwidth.
Exactly.
So, how do you fix bandwidth issues if we can't? If we can't control it with speed, how do we get bigger pipes?
You don't. Not wirelessly.
Or how come nobody's working on that? Or are they working on it and they just can't?
They are. There was a company a long time ago when Tampa Bay Multimedia, when we went from Bayou Productions to Tampa Bay Multimedia, this company came in, and I'm trying to think, I think they were called Red Square or Red Star, something like that. And what they were working on was a Wi-Fi system that they could put in, and they weren't even doing this for America. They were actually going overseas with it and what they were trying to do is make it where Wi-Fi was everywhere. And they were talking speeds of up to 200 down and 50 up, wirelessly. I mean, that's
was that the WiMAX?
No. They were. It was. I think it was called Red Star, and these guys. But their goal was, but they were realistic. They knew the minute they put this out there that once everybody hit it, you were going to get speeds of 10 down and maybe 2 up, but it was something better than not having anything. And these things were all solar powered, right? And they were Wi-Fi, and you had to put them. They made it where you had to put them every 2 miles. So that was, and they were talking some. I'm like. How? Without infrastructure in the ground, they're like, nope. They were literally working with NASA. It was based on satellite, not cellular, right?
Exactly. And then going out. Well, that's one thing about 5G too, is that because what a lot of people don't realize is 2.4 gigahertz is very, very wide, and it can shoot a strong signal for a long distance. So if my arm span was to be 2.4. This would be what 5G is as far as the signal strength. It's super narrow. Right. They've already said, and you have to ask yourself, how do they know this? Who do they test on that if they turned it up to go out far enough to reach where 2.5, it would fry your brain
it would cook
by the
people.
time it gets you.
Yeah. Right.
So, we already have cities that have 5G. So what they're doing now is instead of building traditional towers, you're going to see them everywhere. Those are those little white... Yeah. They look like the Unify receivers, right?
Yep.
And they're on top of the buildings everywhere, and they're spread around town. That's how they're going to build the infrastructure for 5G out, because it is so close that you have to be to it to get a good, strong signal.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to what you were talked about before, is out west in these rural areas where it is all these companies have gotten billions of dollars from the government to fund them to go build out these areas.
Yep.
Yes.
And, so we're not, how are you going to put 5G out there? I mean, are we going to strap them to the back of the cows or put them on the fence post? And I mean,
You're gonna put them on.
You're gonna have power for one.
Well, okay.
What was that one that was throwing the balloons up and then hoping it was floating around?
There was a guy that again, this was Red Star. I think the company's name was Red Star. I don't really remember. And then I asked him. I said, "Well, it's great that you're doing this out in Africa and in Mexico and Guatemala and places like that where they don't have it. So, but why don't you work in your own backyard where half the Midwest is still DSL or dial-up?
Right.
Why can't you put that out there?" He goes, "Well, we'd have to power it with solar." I said, "Well, yeah, but you could always do wind as backup." I mean, look back in the days before we had all the really cool stuff, and I mean back in the 20s and 30s and 40s, right? How did most of these people pump their water out Midwest? They had wind. They were wind-driven pumps. Yep. Those big old windmills out there, they're spinners, and that's what moved that pump, so that they could water their farms and stuff. So. Okay, so if you're going to power this out in the Midwest and out there where those plains are, you could do yourself a small windmill as well as solar, so you always had a backup.
They used batteries.
Batteries, amazing things.
Hey, you know what's funny? It's like Elon when he runs down to Australia and says, "Hey, we're going to build you a battery, 56 days," and they take him up on, or in less than 100 days, they take him up on offer, and he knows darn well he's going to win.
Right.
And look, the network is stable. Our infrastructure is getting more stable. Oh wow, batteries, yeah,
batteries.
We've had those for quite some time.
And the problem with batteries is that there's no new technology right now.
That's crazy.
Which I can't believe someone's not trying to make a better battery.
I know car manufacturers are. They're really putting in that extra effort to really drive that.
Are they just Are they just working on dry cell and LiPo technology, or are we trying to go beyond LiPo?
They're trying to go beyond.
We have to.
We have to make the cars lighter. Teslas weigh so much. Rob was telling me this the other day that the tires have a rubber insert on the outside to make it quieter for the road noise.
Wow.
But it's a heavy car because it's tons of batteries.
Yeah.
That's just like
I watched those guys taking the batteries out.
It's a golf cart.
You seen the guys taking the batteries out? I mean, they're using regular 2.5-ton floor jacks and stuff. Holding the battery. It's like pulling a transmission on an old F-350 or something.
But ultimately, though, that's why that Apple's waiting on the world, or letting all these people let Android make the mistakes. I mean, Android stole their technology because of the touch screen, whole 9 yards. So sit back and go, all right, you know what? You guys just kind of figure this out.
That's why they pulled their manufacturing in.
Right.
That's why they're pulling all their stuff into screens, everything, because they can source it out and get cheap labor. But what do you get after that? You get duplicates, copies.
China's ripping you off.
Yeah, and
saying. Well, you're Chinese. I'm sorry.
So, have we heard anything else on the CEO for? I can never say the name of the business. Hawaii. How do you say it? The cellular company.
Hanwei.
Hawaii.
How do you say it, James?
James knows. James won't talk over. He doesn't want to. He's like, you're not pulling me into this. But
no, that's why they indicted her, and like all of the board, they indicted them because they were basically still in patents,
going around
just saying, hey, we'll build what we want.
Exactly.
Which is so wrong. But anyway.
And selling what they want.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so back to, but that's why Apple is waiting, because they know it's, you can sit there and go, oh, we got it, but it doesn't mean it works. Mm-hmm. It might catch on fire knowing Android.
Their user base is not the kind of user base to fix their own problems. And if they can't fix the problem first, they're just rather keep it hands off and make sure, because under normal circumstances, people that use Apple products, they just know that they turn it on and it works.
So how much more battery power are we going to need to handle those? Because as you're doing more data, that's more processing. Mm-hmm. How much more are you sucking off the batteries for that?
Yep. I know.
And then so brings me to the next thing is, as we were having a conversation last week, and we didn't get to it on the show, but the Apple iPad Pro versus the Apple iPad Air.
Right.
we were trying to get to the point to where you were telling me why I would want one over the other. Because I'm at the point now where I need to buy the new one, and I need the newest, the greatest, and the latest. But which one do I want and why? And what's the difference? And why do we have the Air versus the Pro at this point when the technologies are pretty much matching out?
Yeah, I think Apple right now with the iPads kind of have a identity crisis going on. I think
you're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I think there's really they've gotten to the point now where there's no real new design. The biggest issue has been iOS is on the iPad at least is kind of held it back. I was just reading an article where they're saying like the iPhone itself can do everything that the iPad can do. There's no difference, and
everybody's talking bad about it because like when you go into like the Pro for the IBM Pro, you can actually now replace your laptop with that and use it as a replacement of. And everybody's like, well, I can't do everything I need to do on my iPad.
Right.
That would allow me to just carry that, not my laptop anymore.
And that's that whole integration with iOS and macOS needs to really happen so they can fix that, or at least bring some options over. Yeah. And I'd like to see what's going on. I haven't read too much on iOS 13, so I would like to see what their plans are, to kind of. The iPad should theoretically be able to function as a laptop. I mean, it has all the processing power. It has all the capabilities. The operating system's holding it back right now.
Do you think that they're doing that intentionally so that you have to buy the laptop?
I don't think they did that intentionally.
Is it just an oversight?
I think it happened to be an oversight, especially when it came out with the 12-inch. I mean, the whole premise was, let's do it bigger, better, the integration with the apps and stuff. But again, here you are with a fully functional, capable, possible laptop replacement, and you can't use it as such, not fully. And it's just not quite right yet.
Yeah, and now that I've had the 12-inch, I love mine. This one.
Oh yeah.
So you like a big 12-inch, do you? That's right. I went there.
Leave it to John.
Yep.
But
that's me.
So for me to go down in size to get more features or something, I don't really want to do that. So why would I go with an iPad Air versus going with an iPad Pro?
No, you're still going to have the Pro, but they're basically cutting out the 10-inch on the new one. They've kind of cut out the 10-inch. Now they're calling it the 11-inch iPad Pro, and then they have a 12.9 still. But they're
power-wise and
power-wise, they haven't
use.
Really. I don't believe they're upgrading this generation yet on the one the newest one is it. So I think right now they're just trying to do a refresh and they're trying to get rid of the older technology. So they got the iPad. You have the iPad Air, the new Air that come out. So it's got the same speed and processing as the Pros. So we can go ahead and delete that generation out of there. We can clear that SKU, get rid of that inventory, and we can start trying to fix our identity crisis with the iPads, and then make the Pro what it should be as a laptop replacement. Start moving the MacBooks and the iPad Pros into the same kind of,
What I'd like to see them do is with the iPad Pro is basically, because my screen's almost the same size as yours.
Oh, yeah.
Basically throw that into this and let me have the wireless keyboard for it.
Exactly.
That would be phenomenal, because then I could run all my Adobe suites. I can run all my software, all my other peripheral.
Do you like the app versions of the software, or do you like the regular?
I like the regular versions.
You like the regular version, and that's a big issue.
That's a huge issue. You can't edit video.
You can't. You don't have a mouse. You don't. Even if you you have a touchpad, you would not have a cursor because it's iOS. They did not integrate that option in there, so you couldn't use it.
So yeah, I tried once trying to do. I even tried to trick it by getting a Bluetooth mouse and blah blah blah.
Nobody want to do it because it's not built into it.
It's looking at you going, "What are you trying to do?"
Yeah,
John?
I don't see that. So if I can't edit on it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have an iPad and I use it for tethering.
Our fingers,
That's it.
Our fingers can only hit an area so big When you start getting too small, you can't do no more.
Exactly.
And on top of that, some people just don't want to use a pencil.
Or you lose the pencil like I have this morning.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
Where'd your
Yeah.
pencil go, buddy?
Of all the
throw
things
that
it can
$100
do,
away.
it just can't bind itself.
There's no find my pencil.
Find my.
Find my pen. There it is over there.
Did you see that the Alexa app to find your phone? Now it calls your
Yes.
phone for you, but it's using some Chinese company overseas. Find my phone. Okay, no problem. We'll send you a text message. Data rates may apply.
Data rates may apply. Yeah, exactly.
So that brings up. So should I just go with if I'm going to switch over to all Macs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I switch over to just getting a laptop instead of spending the money on the iPad?
Are you
Pro?
going to edit?
Yeah, I have
Yep.
to. You know that.
That's what you want.
I mean, I don't use this now for editing. I use this basically for client demos and managing invoices and stuff like that when I'm out on the road, because TSA was nice enough to drop my laptop for me this last trip. So, and I got to get that into Adam over at AMS and let him fix that. That's not a little kick in there for you.
Plug. We got a plug
A
going
little
on
plug
here.
for you now. But no,
I mean, if you're going to do editing and stuff, yes, John's right. Stick with.
but I don't even edit on my laptop.
No, hopefully you're sending all your editing to me.
Well, yes. Well, I'm doing video
Plug for
to
moi.
you. You're doing all the video editing. I'm doing all the graphics
Yeah, I
and
hate
stuff like that and
Photoshop.
website editing,
Photoshop,
so.
Illustrator, Lightroom. The minute someone says they use Lightroom, I'm like, okay, you don't know how to edit, so that's great. You're an idiot. You're letting a program do it for you. That's awesome. Yeah.
So right now you have the 11-inch and the 12.9 Pro. That's out, and then the second generations were the 10.5, and they're getting rid of that.
They're getting rid of those, yeah.
But if you want to, speaking of big screens, have you seen the new Samsung? The
No.
49-inch. That thing is a monster, and it has multiple configurations. I don't have my app on, so we can't grab it.
It's the wide one, the
49 inches,
where you can do the 2 or 3 screens in one,
Oh,
right?
the screen?
Yes.
If you can grab my laptop, Rob, that's great. If you can't, I understand. But yeah, and it's 32.9 curved screen.
There it is, right there.
Yeah, that is a monster.
What I like about
How
those.
tall is it? That's what bothers me.
Well, it's 32, so it's 49 inch wide. So it's got to be almost 22, 23.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 24.
So basically,
Well, hold
you're
on, I'll find the
replacing-
dimensions for
you're,
you.
Yeah.
You're
Return
replacing
the
the two monitors that I have on my
Right.
desk, which would be nice because if you were to walk into my office right now and you were a customer and you try to sit across from me on the desk, all you see is
Does
the
that-
back of these
does-
two big
does-
monster.
Does that use a single HDMI connection, or
It
splits the
uses
screen?
2 HDMIs and 1 Lightning port.
Interesting.
So
Has
you
2
can have two
USBs on it,
inputs coming
plus
into
the
it.
power. Yeah.
But now, here's the cool thing about it, is the technology that they use in that, you can actually have one HDMI coming out of your computer to it, and you
Yes.
can do split screen with it. So you can have a browser here and a program here,
Yeah.
and it'll run. Or you can do all 3 heads up, because it's just basically saying hip browser sits in this slot, this sits in this slot, and this sits in this
Right.
slot.
So the curvature is 1800R. Your brightness will go up to 350 CD, which is freaking awesome, right? It's HDR. Screen size is 49. Resolution is 3840 by 1080. Your static contrast is 3000s to 1, typically. Okay. If your viewing angle is 178 degrees, horizontally and vertically, display type is variable. Of course, it's
So
dynamic.
what's the price tag on that?
$1,000.
Nice.
Not bad. Not bad at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find the physical size is. Oh, okay. Well, here's the product dimensions without the stand is 47 inches long, 14 inches tall, and 7.65 deep because of the curve.
14 inches tall? Mm-hmm. That's what I've kind of been running into. I've been looking at some of those screens. Yes, they're
takes up
great.
about this much room.
Yeah, but they're only 14 inches tall. I mean,
Yeah, but it's because you don't need it tall if you're getting the peripheral.
what if I want to sit higher in my chair and I end up looking
Move it
over the
up.
top of my monitor?
Move it up.
But you think for day traders and stuff like that,
Holy crap,
or
though, it's-
Forex guys, that's a
It's
perfect
26
one.
pounds. With the stand, it's 33 pounds.
Holy cow, that's heavy.
That's heavy.
That's a monster.
Hey, it comes with an installation CD.
It does.
What the heck?
Which means, because it allows
you
you
do
to choose your layout. And it's
software driven?
and it's powered by the AMD Radeon FreeSync. So it's designed for gamers. What it happened, what I saw the demo of it, and they showed that they can literally you can choose all your configurations that you want, which is kind of cool, right? So they showed that the 16:9 typical view of a gamer, and here's the guy with a gun, whole 9 yards, and then they showed the exact same shot in 32:9, and you saw the guy that was shooting you over here that you couldn't see before. So see, he goes, that's cheating a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, baby, because if you're a gamer, and you're
That's not me not turning my head.
instead of running 2 monitors, but you still lose field, right? Because you're got that middle piece. Now you got that whole field, which is kind of cool.
But the games have to be set up for that.
They already are.
Okay.
Yeah.
They already are. They're producing 4K. Actually, they're producing 8K.
Yeah, developers are already out there.
They're ahead
waiting
of
for the
us.
technology to catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem is they could go bigger and better. They got nowhere to go bigger and better.
They can't yet. They put the product. The minute you like some of the Xbox games, I know you can play in 4K if you have a 4K monitor. They can handle it because HDMI can handle 4K. So that's what the difference is. But I'll tell you what, though, I saw this the other day and I'm like, I want one just to edit, with. Could you imagine? I don't know if I'd have to get used to the curve, because it has to keep the aspect ratio the right way. So I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool. If I had the money, I'd buy it in a heartbeat. Yeah, because here's do me a favor, bring my laptop again, Rob. So right there's your configurations.
Oh, nice.
Full screen, one screen, top, bottom, side, bottom, top. So you'd have to make. I'm pretty sure you would have to make sure that your card can handle it. Your in your computer, and I bet you anything they want you to run both HDMI's.
Yeah.
To better feed the double and side by sides and up and overs and stuff like that, because that's.
So you're running the 1080i 11 gig.
That's great for your security
The
cameras.
TI.
Yeah, the TI.
That'd be great for your security.
It would be good for your security cameras.
But I like that one shot in the far left. They have it a big X.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where I would be using those pizza slices on my screen.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But you can do it. You can do it anyway. So I just talking about big screens. I thought that was pretty cool.
Snazzy.
$1,000 from Samsung.
$1,000.
Just do it. Nice.
Heck, they'll even finance it for you.
Wow.
$9.99, $83.30 a month if you with no interest paid if it paid in full within 12 months.
Nice.
Samsung financing.
And your interest rate will go ahead and go up to 49% interest.
49%.
Your interest will be equal to the size of your screen.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't pay it in 12 months or less.
But it's pretty cool. I mean, if you're a serious gamer, this is something you need. I would say.
There was a company
I would spend money on that before I'd spend money on $1,000 on a chair.
There was a company that would have your custom gaming computer, and say, for instance, you needed to upgrade to the newest graphics card. They had a leasing program where you leased graphics cards from them.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know why it didn't take off. They should have. Really.
That would be a great thing. My personal.
I think what
opinion.
ended up happening is that the whole Bitcoin mining really kind of crushed them a little bit, because what it was is you would basically buy, lease the graphics card, and you could turn it in for the next model that came out, or at the end of the lease, like your phones and stuff, you could finish paying it off and own the graphics card, which I thought was kind of cool, because that's your biggest expense once you get the computer built, is your graphics cards, and then having to upgrade them every year or something, 6 months to a year.
Yep.
Because I have the Nuke, right? The i7 Nuke, and there's no way to put a video card in, so I got to buy the Cradle plus the card. And I was looking at them the other day, and the one that I'm looking at, just the card alone is $1,100. And then, Cradles I haven't even looked at yet.
GPUs have gone. They're
$1,100, and it's only got 11 gigs on it.
It's only 11 gigs.
And I remember when we were just saying it only has 2 gigs on it.
Yeah.
Of 512 RAM. I need all the RAM I can have.
I remember the days when you say I had a 526 modem,
Yep.
dial up, and I was screaming.
Oh, wait,
fast.
if I'm not mistaken, it's AT&F and
Yes.
C1 and D2 to force 56K on your modem.
56K.
Wow, I don't know why I remember that. I need to start remembering
I
something
remember
better.
those days.
Remember the old Commodore 64s?
Oh, God have mercy.
What are we doing?
You had to know how to play a video game. You had to be a coder.
You
Yeah.
did. You did have to be a coder. You know what?
Before you're allowed to sit there and play that game, Jimmy, you need to code the whole thing. You got 3 weeks or else you're grounded.
Put your cartridge in.
I just played
and go at it.
Exactly. So we've had some good topics today. We've talked about the whole Google Stadia and the 5G, which again I don't care if they put 20G up. It's still never going to work right.
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi, in my personal opinion, will never be super fast. You know, we think it's super fast because it's a little faster than what we got last week.
Yeah.
But when you get down to it, heavy duty work, nah.
Yeah.
And it's unreliable. You know, it's
And
you
they're
would think
trying
it. You think that the Wi-Fi is just one perfect ring right after another, but it's like a pebble in a pond. When you hit that thing just right, that thing goes just like this and will disrupt everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when we stream places, we tell people, they go, we have Wi-Fi. I said, okay, then it's not guaranteed. You're going to pay me money to not, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to sign a piece of paper that says we're not guaranteeing the stream. And when you come back yelling at me, why is it doing this? I'm going to show you that piece of paper you signed going, and don't yell at me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things that I kind of always question about, because with the 5G, they're talking like this is going to be it. This is done. It's going to be the next wow thing. That the connections are going to be, solid.
4G
and
was
you're
the wow thing.
And they're
LTE
talking
was
like
the
even in the
wow
medical
thing.
field.
Yeah.
Gigabit LAN
this
was
is
a
gonna be
wild thing.
perfect.
Now we got 10 gigabit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
But-
just hyping their own crap up.
So before we go, because we got like 5
We got
minutes
30
left.
seconds.
What?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yep, 30. Dude, I'm
Man,
telling you.
Yeah,
we
we got
should-
all the time we want here,
We
remember?
should go to a 2-hour show, which I'm pretty sure his wife would kill him. So
Well, before we go, real quick, anything new in the video world?
there is, but not enough to get into it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so we only
we'll
got
say
10
that for
seconds.
next
With that being said, we will see everybody next Monday. We are going to
Bye.
rerun this show on Thursdays now. We're live at 11 a.m. on Mondays, and then on Thursdays rerun. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
We got the plans cause we are the tech shamans. We understand cause we are the tech shamans. Dude, I got this cool thing to show you. Really, man? Yeah, it's far out and technical and stuff. Awesome, yeah. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Come on and turn it on. Tune into the tech shamans. Cool.